Let's jump in. Just to run through the agenda shortly, I'm going to introduce our speakers from our team. Lad will be giving a brief overview of ClearFresh for those who are unfamiliar, and then we will dive into the product end of it and run through the dashboard and all the cool features that we have. So I will let Alad and Avi introduce yourselves. Alad, do you want to go first?
Sure. Hey guys, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I can't see all of your faces, but I see some of the names. So I appreciate everyone's devoting some time for this meeting. I'm the CEO, one of the three co-founders of CloudFresh, and you'll hear much more from me in the next 10 minutes. So I'll save it for Avi.
Hey guys, great to have you in our webinar, and we're looking forward to show you some of our new and existing feature within the reporting.
Great.
Okay, so I'll kick off, guys, and I'm gonna try and speak for about 5 minutes, and I want to do two things. There's some new faces here on the line, so I want to give you a very kind of short update on who we are, uh, what we're doing, and why we've been doing it over the last 8 years. And then more importantly, I want to talk a little bit about the areas of focus for us and where we're investing over the last 9 to 12 months in terms of growth of the business, specifically from a product perspective. And that will be essentially the kind of benchmark for Avi to come in and really focus and actually show you some real life examples of what we've been doing over the last few months and where we see the business going in terms of our R&D investment. So that's kind of the agenda for today. Uh, as a reminder for those who are not familiar with CloudFresh, we're an 8-year-old software company. We started the business back in 2018 with the sole purpose to build um, an AI powered before AI was sexy, actually. So it was really a software that leveraged AI, computer vision, specifically technology that we've been building in-house over the last 8 years, dedicated solely for the fresh produce supply chain. And our goal in life is really to help each one of you guys standardize the way you do quality across all of your operations globally and remove as much as possible the subjectivity of out of the inspection process so you can have less rejections, less claims, higher quality of shipments going through your supply chain, and ultimately higher profitability for your business. How do we do that? We essentially built a software platform that is doing really three key things. Number one, we built a software platform that can help you onboard and digitalize your quality specs. So we take all of your paper-based or PDF or Excel-based quality specs and we convert them into a digital spec. And from now on, that's how you guys communicate and evaluate quality with all of your stakeholders, whether they are internally or externally. Number two, we enable you guys to perform the QC through a mobile app, offline, online mode, and essentially take advantage of our different technologies, including computer vision, to remove as much as possible the human judgment, subjectivity out of the process. And then the third piece, which we're going to focus most of the time today, is really our analytics platform. And a lot has been going on that front over the last year, and we'll talk much more about it again in the next 20 minutes. Uh, at the end of the day, we really have one goal for our enterprise. And the goal is to help the industry set a global objective standard for how everyone performs the QC, right? There's not going to be one QC standard. Each one of you guys have your own specs in order to differentiate, obviously, your brand and your needs. But the way each player in the supply chain, and it could be uh, in a Bloomfresh or a Bayer, it could be a berry grower, It could be a Dole or a Del Monte or a wholesaler or a retailer or even a USDA or OECD, for example, when they have a question on what's the quality of the supply that just entered their tech house or departed the distribution center, the answer is going to be you should go and cloud refresh the supply in order to get the answer. And obviously, cloud refreshing the supply based on each one of your specs, but the way you do the QC should be standardized in order to remove the issues that the industry is facing today from a variability perspective and subjectivity perspective. So that's really the goal for us. Next slide, Talia. Thank you. So I want to kind of set up the stage for Avi. Essentially, from a product perspective, we see three key phases that have been taking place. Phase one is when we started, 2018. Essentially, what we saw at that point of time, if we essentially allocate the QC to three different buckets from a standardization perspective, everyone in the supply chain has his own paper-based or Excel-based quality spec, which a lot of them are written freestyle and, to say simply, are not standardized. The second bucket was the actual data collection, the inspection process, which was a fully manual process 8 years ago. And from analytics perspective, there was very little amount of data that was actually analyzed. There were some simple reporting that are being done. Even those simple reporting usually would have taken 8 to 50 minutes, we even so with some of you guys. And that was essentially the situation as we started the business back in 2018. Next stage to today, 8 years later, I think we've helped the industry within each one of those buckets. How did we help? From a standardization perspective, we essentially came up with the CloudFresh language, which essentially means that is, for example, you onboard CloudFresh, we help you convert your paper-based or Excel-based specs into a digital spec. It's still very helpful to you because now you have one way to communicate your spec to all of your inspectors and to your suppliers, but it's still very focused on you as a specific player rather than as a standard for the entire industry. So that's kind of bucket one. From a data collection perspective, we've invested a lot in our computer vision technology, and we're able to develop automation to analyze size and color for about 25 produce categories, which are the most popular today, represent about 80% of the volume of the Walmart or a Tesco fresh produce sales. And I think we've done a great job on those items, but it's still not everything because it's only focused on size and color. From an analytics perspective, we got to a point where we built and customized reporting. So you guys can customize your own reports and you can schedule them, etc. And that's kind of where we are today. The next step, and that's where Avi is going to focus over the next 20 minutes, is where we want to take these different product streams over the next 3 years. So from standardization perspective, our goal is to set the standard for the entire industry and not just for a specific player. And we've been working hard on expanding obviously our footprint with a lot of the big marketing companies, but also we've expanded upstream and downstream, both to the wholesalers and retailers over the last actually 12 months, as well as some of the bigger growers. From a data collection perspective on the computer vision, we are working very hard to actually automate defects for certain categories. We've already introduced a couple of them. I'll talk more about it in the next slide, but that's a key area of focus for our R&D business. And then the third one, which we're going to focus on today, is really around the analytics. And we do have a couple of exciting stuff to share with you guys that I think you'll see valuable. So just to finish on my side, essentially from an R&D perspective, two big buckets as you just saw. One is the computer vision, the other one is the analytics. On the computer vision, essentially, we have different levels of automation as a reminder. Level one, which is pure digitalization. We do support actually any fresh category today. We actually have a couple of customers today that already started to onboard their cheese business on CloudFresh. Level two is where we cover the 25 produce categories on size and color, already commercial with millions of inspection over the last 5 years. And on the defect, we started with orange, strawberry, and blueberries already actually going to be introduced very soon. Commercially, it's already actually live with a couple of design partners around the world in each one of those three categories. And then grapes is kind of the next one for us to focus on next year, as well as actually apples, which is not on the picture. So I expect for us to have between 4 and 5 produce categories, including defect automation, introduced to the market over the next few months. And as we do that, we will reach out to some of our customers and help you essentially onboard that process to make sure we make it smooth transition for you. So that's the first bucket. The second bucket is the analytics, where we invested a lot over the last 9 months. And I will invite Avi actually to go through a demo of what actually we've been doing and what we intend to do over the next few months.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Elad. So Avi, I'll hand it over to you. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and you can go ahead and take over.
Yeah, thank you, Elad and Talia. Did you send a permit for me? Some reason. Let me try.
Be able to share now?
I'm trying. Just a second. But I need to share this one. Thank you. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay, thank you very much. So in CloudFresh, we try to obviously to make your day as easy as possible. As a platform that is very focused on QC for fresh produce, we try to push all the relevant information into your desktop without doing too much work. So as a QC manager, you start your day with a dashboard. Inside your dashboard, you can view a lot of information. So you can see here, for example, what was the trending of inspection in the past year or in the past month or any relevant period of the year. If you want to focus on a specific produce, let's focus on table grapes. I can see a lot of information of what happened within this table grapes. For example, I can go into root failure trend and I can see that around end of July we had a problem here with a lot of defects. I can also go to do deep dive with the defects and see that I had here the problem was due to bruising information here around 24 to 30 of July. I had very high rate of bruising. And here in around October, mid-October, we had the dehydration problem and so on. We can do a lot of information. If I'm doing a deep dive within the report, I can see all the information about every inspection that I did. And obviously, I can do a lot of filtering. So I can do filtering based on package, on process, inspection, and so on. This is quite straightforward. Now, let's say that I want to add information. I can always remove and add additional kind of information. For example, I would like to add defect information. I can just see all the major and minor defects for all of my inspections. And if I want to see additional graphs, I can see some graphs over here about inspection grade root cause and inspection grade. And obviously I can replace these graphs and I can also create my own new graph. So let's say that I'm very interested in bricks. So I will add bricks trend, and I will add trending graph, and it will be based on bricks, obviously. And I can do a group by, if I want to do a group by growers, for example, I can do a group by grower, and this is it. I have my own graph, and now I can see the bricks trend per each of my growers. So for example, I can see that G-Walls during the month of January had a very good bricks. But later on during the year, it was they had some degradation. I can also see what was the reason for failing, for example. So all the information is accessible to me. But if I want to do even additional more deep dive, we have this cool feature which is called AI Analytics. So if I'm going into the analytics, I have here ChatGPT style. So I can ask the chat any kind of information. Obviously, only my organization information is accessible here, and I can write it here in any language. In this case, let's have breakdown. Um, sorry, breakdown of major and minor defects per grower in the past 6 months. And I'll just press it, and then the AI technology will will browse into all the information that is accessible from my organization, and I can have practically any analytics from this information in just 2 minutes. So here I have all the information. The chat will write me, sorry, the AI will give me a breakdown of what happened, how it did the work. Obviously, once I have this information, I can download it into CSV, or I can copy the graph and use it in any other platform. And it will give me a full access of information. In the past, it might take me a few days to get such information, but now I have it. I can have it all in just 2 minutes. I think now is the time for questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Avi. Yes, we do have some time for questions that came in earlier. So the first question that came in was, what languages does Clarifresh support?
So out of the box, we support 6 language, including, I don't remember by heart, but it's all exist within our site. I think the 2 main languages that we work with is English and Spanish, but with the advantages of the chat and other AI technologies, actually any language is accessible with our platform.
Thank you, Avi. The next question that came in, somebody asked, if I have different stakeholders like a QC manager, sales, can each one customize reports in the reporting tab?
And the answer, a very good question, and the answer is yes. You can create your own template report, and you can even schedule a report. So if you want a specific report, like give me all the failure of the last week on my email each Monday morning, sorry, I can have it in just a couple of clicks.
Great. The next question that came in is regarding integrations. How does Clarifresh integrate with our existing ERP? And if we're in offline mode, how does that work?
Okay, so we start with ERP. We actually do integration with the majority of the customer. From the big customer, it's almost 100% of them. We do integration with ERP. One of our partners is SAP, but we can integrate with basically any ERP system that exists. It will be easier if the ERP system will support standardized REST APIs, so the integration will be very easy and smooth. But even if not, we have the tools and the technology to create this integration. And the second question is offline. So our application obviously can work in offline modes, usually in the field level. In the packing house, there is an internet connectivity, no issues with that. But in the field, in many of the cases, there is no internet, and we can capture inspection in the field level without the need of the internet. Obviously, it's limited to the amount of memory that exists on your device, but shouldn't be a problem.
Great. I think this is more for Alad. What kind of measurable reduction in produce rejections or waste do your customers typically see?
Yeah. Thanks, Toya. It's a good question. So first, um, I'll answer it in two phases. Phase one is that when we engage with a new customer, definitely when we do a trial before we sign the customer, we don't really have, neither you nor us have the capacity, at least the credible capacity, to estimate what's going to be the saving in rejections or reduction of claims that you will realize as a result of adopting Cloudfish. Uh, the easiest way for us to prove an ROI for you is by you doing an A/B testing, and you can see that we're going to save you 50% of the time just by doubling the productivity of your team. But the big dollar value is not there in the productivity. It's really about the reduction of rejection and claims. And what we've seen is there's two conditions. Condition number one is uh, for customers who have adopted us in multiple inspection points, usually 3 inspection points, which could include also control. And the second is usually customers who have done business with us like for full implementation of about 18 months and onwards. Uh, we've seen just from the last 9 months, 3 different customers that came to us, two from North America, one from Latin America, where they reduced rejection of claims depending on how they call it, somewhere between 22% to 34% relative to the previous year before they adopted Cloudfish. Different reasons for each one of them. For one of these guys, it was because of just because they could do many more, like the sample size was significantly enhanced. They actually came up with a new inspection point at the outbound that reduced significantly the claims that they realized. For another customer, the fact that they adopted Cloudfish from the farm, literally after they harvested, down to destination market QC, and using computer vision along all of its supply chain, they reduced a lot of the inconsistencies of inspector activity and therefore had significantly less rejection. So there are different reasons, but I think our goal would be somewhere around 20%. We've seen again a couple of examples with higher than that, but somewhere around 20% I think would be an amazing goal for both you guys and us to help you in reducing rejections.
Great. Thank you, Alad. The next question that came in is, can I do a report by grower or by commodity?
So the answer is yes. The AI agent that we use actually is the same engine as OpenAI. It's OpenAI agent. You can create any kind of reporting as long as the information exists there. So we capture every piece of information during your inspection. Obviously, the information belongs only to the customer. Only a customer can see his own information. But once the information is there in the cloud, you can use the AI agent to get any kind of report or information out of that.
Great. The next question that came in is, what type of hardware is required for inspectors?
Okay, so I guess it's related to the mobile device. So we generally support Android and iOS. But if you want to use the advanced AI capabilities regarding CV for capturing size, mainly for capturing size and color and defects at this stage, you have to use iPhone Pro, but only if you want to use advanced CV capabilities.
Great. I think we have time for one more question. So somebody asked, what is a typical learning curve or onboarding time for a team of traditional inspectors?
Okay, so it's a big question. Obviously, it depends out of the team. We, from our side, gives all the necessary help. So usually we have our own project manager, who is very well-trained person regarding the platform, who helps the onboarding process. and it can be very fast. So configuring and doing the onboarding is something that is done in few weeks of work.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Avi. I think we are just out of time right now, but if anybody has any additional questions, of course, feel free to reach out to us. And as I mentioned before, we will be at the Organic Produce Summit next week. I shared a link in the chat of signing up for a meeting with us in person. So we'd love to meet you guys there if you'll be around. And as I mentioned, I will be sending a recording of this webinar out in the next day or so. So feel free to pass it on to your colleagues if they couldn't join us today. Thank you so much, Alad and Avi, for the webinar and for the information you shared. We hope it was valuable for everybody who joined us. And thank you to all of our attendees for taking the time to meet with us today.
Thank you. Have
Thank
a great
you.
day, guys. Looking
Bye
forward to
bye.
seeing you.
Great. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks so
Bye
much.
bye.
Bye.